Manson. This is his words. I tend to believe in social Darwinism. I believe evolution, the evolution of society, and believe in the Darwin theory. This is from an interview with Marilyn Manson at the Capitol Ballroom, Washington, D.C., November 9th, 1995, on that website, spotlightministries.org. How does a young boy like that, Brian Warner, how does he become somebody like this? I submit to you it's because of a foundational belief that he wasn't created. Probably not totally, but certainly partially due to a belief in evolution. And children learn so quickly, don't they? Their minds are so malleable. And children can be led astray so easily, can't they? Darwin's evil legacy. All of you know about this, the Columbine massacre. Sometime in April, me and V, will get revenge and kick natural selection up a few notches. This was in his diary. Look, they look like two nice young men, don't they? My sons couldn't have made better pictures than that. Darwin's ideas can kill, can't they? This is according to the Denver Rocky Mountain News. I think you were quoting that to me, weren't you? Their clothes may give a clue to the thinking of these teenage murderers. The autopsy report for one of the killers documents that on the day of the tragedy, he was wearing black combat boots, a black glove on his right hand, and a white T-shirt that said natural selection on the front. This is an actual picture from the massacre, from the school security camera. Thanks, Mr. Darwin. Darwin's evil legacy. There's a funeral of one of the victims of Columbine, the Columbine massacre. How to build a bomb. Tell a child that there are no absolutes, that life is an accident, that people are evolved animals, that they are nothing but the product of millions of years of violence, death and suffering, that there is no meaning to existence, that there is no God, that the Bible is not true. Remove the Bible and prayer and the Ten Commandments from the schools, and then sit back and wait. Thank you, Mr. Darwin. Could this violence be a result of what children are being taught in schools, maybe in Biology 101? Jesus said, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he cast into the sea than he should offend one of these little ones, children. And every millstone is reserved for an evolutionist who has led one of God's precious children astray. And I say amen to that. Darwin's evil legacy, political repression. As a result of negative influences of evolutionism, the human culture, the most evil philosophies of human history have been spawned. Communism and Nazism. There's Nazism and communism owe their existence to Darwinism. Famous evolutionist mass murderers. We all know these guys. Mao Zedong, the biggest mass murderer in history. Joseph Stalin, the second biggest murderer in mass history. Adolf Hitler, the third biggest mass murderer in history. Benito Mussolini, I'm not sure where he's on that scale. Pol Pot, the initiator of the killing fields in Cambodia, killed a third of the Cambodian people, over 1 million, I think 2 million people. Fidel Castro, whom the liberals love, they love this man. Diane Sawyer of ABC News fawned all over this guy when he came to New York the last time to speak at the United Nations. They love this guy. They think he's the cat's meow. Some of y'all can remember that term. But he's a brutal butcher. He's a communist thug, and he's an atheist who believes in evolution. Kim Il-sung, the father of the current madman dictator of North Korea, and Erich Honecker, the man that built the Berlin Wall in East Germany. Famous evolutionist mass murderers. The link between communism and Darwinism. Charles Darwin and Karl Marx, the founder of atheism. These guys knew each other. Darwin's book is very important to us and serves me as a basis for natural selection of the class struggle in history. Darwin's book is a death blow to teleology, that is meaning, of the natural world. This is Karl Marx quoted in Evolution, Marxian Biology, and the Social Sciences. Marx admired Darwin. Marx wanted to dedicate Das Kapital to Darwin, describing himself as a sincere admirer of the English naturalist, according to Stephen Jay Gould. Here's a copy. To Charles Darwin from a sincere admirer, Karl Marx. Darwin admired Marx. He wrote him a letter thanking him for this gift, so-called. This is what he wrote in the letter. I thank you for the honor you have done me by sending me this great work, Capital, and I heartily wish that I was more worthy to receive it. Though our studies have been so different, I believe that we both earnestly desire the extension of knowledge, and that this will be in the long run, that this in the long run will sure add to the happiness of mankind. I remain yours faithfully, Charles Darwin. A letter from Charles Darwin to Karl Marx, October 1873. Marxism and the ensuing happiness that it has spread. Gulags, the killing fields, the Stalinist purges, millions and millions, 100 million deaths, more deaths. Marxism and its happiness. The link between Darwin and communism. Darwin and Russian communists who were followed in the footsteps of Marx and Engels, Plenikoff, Lenin, Trotsky, and Stalin all agreed that Darwin's theory of evolution was very necessary to their belief system. Plenikoff, I hope I didn't butcher that name too bad, the founder of Russian communism, regarded Marxism as Darwinism in its application to social science. Darwinism and communism. More people have been murdered by communism than any other political system in history. Darwinism and communism. Mao Zedong, evolutionist and communist dictator and world's greatest mass murderer. According to Dr. Jerry Bergman, creation scientist and researcher. Being a Marxist and an atheist and a firm believer in evolutionism himself, Mao mandated that the reading material used in his early days in the Great Leap Forward in literacy should be the writings of Charles Darwin and other materials supporting the evolutionist paradigm. Darwinism also was a critical factor in the revolution in China. Mao Zedong regarded Darwin, as presented by the German Darwinist, as the foundation for Chinese scientific socialism. The policies Mao originated resulted in the murder of as many as 80 million people. That's more than Hitler, according to Jerry Bergman. Darwin and communism. Mao's brutality